shortly, but now we're going to get to our top story this morning. It's a heartbreaking one. There were emotional moments yesterday from Laken Riley's family as Jose Ibarra was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the death of this 22-year-old nursing student.
Laken's life was not the only life taken on that day that Jose Ibarra attacked her. The life of her family and friends was taken too. None of us will ever be the same. This monster took away our chances to see Laken graduate from nursing school. He took away our ability to meet our future son-in-law. He destroyed our chances of meeting our grandchildren. And he took my best friend.
That was Laken's mom pleading to the judge as she read her victim impact statement. Laken's stepfather, John Phillips, shared the last journal entry of the 22-year-old titled, "To My Future Husband."
To my future husband, I want you to know that I'm thinking about you and can't wait to love you in the best way I know how for the rest of our lives. I pray you know and feel the importance of my love and hopes for our relationship. No matter what challenges we face, I pray that our trust in God and love for one another overrules the obstacle. May our relationship last forever. Your future wife, Laken.
And to drive things home for the judge, the prosecution played video of these moments, the moments that police officers told Laken's family about the murder and who the victim was. And after it was all said and done yesterday, the judge found Jose Ibarra guilty on all charges and sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. One of the more powerful videos from the bench during this trial was Laken Riley jogging, one of her final moments alive. And we're talking about what we can learn from this tragic case. How can it prevent future victims? That's what we heard over and over through those victim impact statements yesterday. So we're bringing in to discuss a panel of guests. We have criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Matthew Timpanek, private investigator and retired Army counterintelligence officer Manuel Gomez, and criminal defense attorney and civil rights attorney John Phillips is with us. Thank you all for being on as we break down this heartbreaking case, but wondering where do we go from here. I want to start with you, Attorney Timpanek. Your thoughts on the judge's decision yesterday and what may happen next in a case like this.
So, based on the facts and evidence, the evidence of guilt was overwhelming in this case. The prosecution's case left no doubt that anybody but the defendant committed these heinous acts. And based on it, he sentenced the defendant to the statutory maximum what he could give. However, I don't know if the case ends here, because remember, the federal government also has concurrent jurisdiction over this case. There's no double jeopardy. So in the new administration takes over in January, the new GOJ could look into this case and file federal murder charges with the intent to seek the death penalty. Will they do that? I don't know. But it's a serious possibility given the extreme heinous nature of the crimes and unforgivable acts that took the life of Laken Riley.
Matthew, I think that answers a lot of questions that people have about the death penalty, why it was not sought at all by prosecutors in this case. So that life in prison without parole was the max that this judge could give Jose Ibarra in Georgia. Manuel, what can you tell us about your research into perhaps the background of Jose Ibarra, his brother Diego Ibarra, and their ties back to their home country of Venezuela?
What I found when I started researching on Jose Ibarra, that he belongs to the Tren de Agua gang. Now, this is a very lethal gang. It's actually the governor of Texas has just recently, on September 23rd, put a $5,000 bounty on all members of the Tren de Agua gang, which Jose Ibarra belongs to. Okay, for any information leading to their arrest. So that, you know, Texas is taking a proactive approach on hunting down this type of gang member. Jose Ibarra showed indicatively his characteristics of a gang member and a serial killer. It was clear to me that if you see his face in the court, he does not show emotion. When he was told he was given life without parole, he stood there emotionless. Any other normal person would have been, eyes would have blinked, maybe even cried, something. Nothing from this guy, because he's done it before. This is a deadly gang, and he is the perfect example. And I hope the Laken Riley trial makes America realize we need a national database to track these gangs. We are currently being besieged by these social terrorist gangs from other countries, and we need to track them. All law enforcement states need to be able to get together, the 50 states, and show the information so that we can stop the infiltration of these gangs. Currently, they've been growing under our backyards without us realizing it. And we're not telling the other state what the other state is doing. So the only really proactive state right now taking action to stop this gang and stop guys like Jose Ibarra is Texas. And they've infiltrated New York, Colorado. And I just want to end it with this. This is the same gang that attacked the Aurora, Colorado housing complex. This is the Tren de Agua that Jose Ibarra belongs to. He is a killer, and he's just one among us.
And to your point, Manuel, the Georgia Governor, Brian Kemp, he put out a statement after this decision by the judge, sharing his condolences with the family, but also talking about border control and the need for it in light of a case like this. But John Phillips, I want to talk about this family. You've represented families who have been the family members of victims in civil rights cases and civil cases. But can we talk about where the family goes from here? This was such a heartbreaking day yesterday, but talk about where they are in this and what they are likely going to be faced with going forward, knowing that if this isn't a death penalty case, they won't be dragged into court as often again in the future with appeals as they would have if the death penalty had been sought. But there may be other situations that they have to deal with going forward.
Right. Julia, when you were a beat reporter here in Jacksonville, you and I have sat on the couches of some of my clients and had their stories told, and they're awful. And the most important thing that they say is they don't want their loved one to die in vain. And I imagine Laken Riley's family is going to do everything they can to go after these gangs, to go after every measure of justice, not just civil, not just criminal, not just court of public opinion, but changing laws, changing policies to be able to make a difference for their daughter and other people's daughters.
Absolutely. I do want to play a moment from yesterday, really something that hurt the hearts of people inside of that courtroom and those of us watching, but it was shown for the purpose of making sure this judge understood what this was like for the family. This is Laken Riley's mother on body camera footage when she is being told about what happened to her daughter.
It's not good. I don't want to tell you yes or no because I don't have names. I don't know who anybody is.